Okay, lately I've been making videos about Adam, the man I married over 40 years ago. By him and his family members. And, how they make decisions for other people. They don't even live near one another. Many of them don't. It's them and their cousins. A set of cousins all involved there. And they basically, like they decide they want to come visit, or they want somebody to come visit. They don't ask, they tell. And it's as though that they're clueless or they just don't care of what they're asking. They just don't seem to understand what they're asking of the other people involved. Like me, like his younger brother's girlfriend. They live together. I don't think they're married, but she works from home. They just don't seem to take anybody, all the other people also. They just don't take them into consideration. It's all about them. Even though, I just made a video and told that I went back and I had a memory of it yesterday morning, hit me. And I went and looked online on my channel that I usually put this stuff on. Used to, but I went and looked at it, and it was from 7 years ago in a month. 7 years in a month. That this thing come up, and Adam had actually chastised his older brother Jeff and their sister Tara for doing just this, making their plans and expecting everybody else to just say, okay. Even when they're going to be driving them, round trip 10 hours or 11 hours or however many hours, the thing that everybody else is just going to go along with what they plan. And that was 7 years ago in a month. Okay? And now Adam's doing it with his brother, the same brother, Jeff, the older brother. I've tried to tell him. I've flat out told him before. I've done all these years, and I really have my own life, and I have things going on in my life. So, stuff has been dawning on me and memories coming back. They just don't get it. They really don't. But one of the examples I was going to use, and I know I've used this before, sometime because they keep doing these things. But one of the examples is it's basically a lack of privacy. I guess it was when his niece, their niece, was thrust on us. Nobody even actually asked me or anything. Didn't ask him even. But still, nothing. Hello. I'm here too. But she's a horrible person. Seriously, she's 31. Horrible, horrible person. I think of her as a sociopath. I don't have a problem saying that. But when she was here, now let me explain the way that our house, it's a 2-story house, how it is designed. Some would see it as a design flaw. I do. But some would see it if they have children, young children, even teenage children, minors in their house. They would see this is a great design. Okay, because as it is, the living room, where the living room is located, let me park here. Where the living room is located, it's kind of like a little bit of the back of the house. And then it's vaulted ceilings all the way through to the roof. It doesn't have a room over it. And but somebody sitting there, they can see every area of the house. Pretty much, except for one. Well, actually, they can see that one too. Like if somebody's coming through the house, in and out of any of the rooms, they can see it from downstairs. Just think about that. You can see all of it, everything going on. You got children, minors, yeah, okay, great. But what if it's past that? What if it's past that stage? And you have people who just invite themselves over, and they don't come over just for tea or coffee, or for dinner. They want to stay at least 2 nights, if not 2 years. They just want to stay, and they're not asking you, they're telling you. You get it. So, privacy issues. Those are going to be the people, is my experience in my life. I'm just going to say, those are the ones who are going to sit in that living room and watch everything, because they are very judgmental people. Adam's and his family, very, very judgmental people. They think that they are perfect. Every member in their family is perfect. They know everything. They believe this stuff, that they know how to live the life right, and everybody should follow their lead. And anytime anybody says anything, they let them know, actually, or whether they say actually or it's implied, they know better. They know better than what that person just said. Even that person just said that they have a toothache. Oh, well, actually, it's probably not a toothache. It's this kind of person. Okay, now. Okay, so the way I have written notes, the way I wrote it was not realize how much they're asking of others. Well, the thing about it is they're not asking, are they? I know. But they are really telling. And it's the whole lack of, one of them is the lack of privacy. Because imagine it. You're in, let's say, like me, in the front room. In order to go to a restroom, I have to go through the living room. And, the half bath is mine. Nobody touches it. Nobody goes in there. It's mine. I got to put my foot down somewhere. And, so I have to go all the way through it's basically, because of our dogs, we have a section apart, it's section off so they won't get out the front door. But I have to go through my office, through the kitchen, through the living room, and then down, part way down the little hall. I mean, imagine somebody sitting there all day, and I'm going to flat out say some things, and some people say, you shouldn't say that. Well, reality, okay? This is reality. And some people need to know, one of the things is don't air your dirty laundry in public. Well, that's the way that people don't understand. This is abuse. Certain things are abusive. Not everything is abusive I'm talking about, but certain things need to be out there so people who don't understand can say, yeah, you're right, that's not right. That's not right that somebody's telling you what you're going to do with your time, making their decisions, making, all this has been about. It's them making plans. They're going to have a vacation. They want to go see somebody. They want to have a visit with these people and stay. When they're down there, it's hours drives, and they're going to stay a night or two, and usually 2. And just change everybody else's world. They're going to make their plans and tell other people. Some people in some families says, well, that's what families do. That's what Adam has said. The same man who chastised the one brother, the older brother, and the sister for doing that 7 years ago in a month. But when it involves him, anyway, they don't realize what they're asking of the other people. The people who have lives. I have a life. And like I said, I was going to say something that someone would say, you shouldn't say that. Well, here it is. Fact. I am 61 years old. I have been on a blood pressure medication that has a diuretic along with it for decades now. They just bumped it up, I don't know how, a few years ago, 2 or 3, I don't know, to where I take it twice a day, 12 hours apart. 2 diuretics a day. Along with it, it's part of the blood pressure medication. Diuretics. So I'm basically in that restroom several times a day, using that half bath. Do you think I want somebody who's sitting there who's judgmental to be sitting there right in the living room as I walk by and watching me? Because that's what they do. His sister was the worst. She would sit in the breakfast nook, which I have to walk through the kitchen. There's the breakfast nook. And she would watch everything I did in the kitchen. And she watched everything I did or didn't do. And she's like maybe 2 or 3 years or somewhere around there older than I, so what big deal? But she had an attitude about herself like it was her home. And that I needed to do what she says. Oh man, and there was a language barrier, somewhat, between she and I. And she just thought it, she was so, and Adam was so, he has that twisted loyalty, that none of us can say it, can we? If you've been through a dysfunctional family, you know it. You probably done it yourself, until you finally woke up. So I don't need to have that loyalty to them. No. Okay, so got an allergies things going on again. It's actually supposed to be, Adam told me that he had heard that the whole nation, or maybe the whole world, I don't know, but because of these really bad winds we had, you saw the beginning of it, that street, that electrical, whatever it is, was tumped down. Tumped down. Where's my words? Okay, where are my words? But we had really strong winds up to 75 miles per hour. 75 miles per hour yesterday, not yesterday morning. Day before, right? Or was it yesterday? Oh my goodness. So much has been going on. So let me get back to it. That of lacking privacy. That is asking someone with them, it's them telling that your whole, your whole privacy is going to be invaded by these judgmental people that you did not invite over into your house. You did not invite them. You were not even taught. It was not even discussed with you because of the weirdness of how they do things. Okay, lack of privacy. I don't want somebody watching me how many times I go to the restroom. Because like I said, they are that judgmental. They're gonna make some remarks about it. Well, she's always going to the restroom. What is she doing? She drinking water too much? She should listen to me. I'll tell her how she should do it. These kinds of people, not joking, okay? Not going to an extreme talking about it. They can be even worse, okay? So, that's not it. Now this one, more people will probably say, you shouldn't say anything. Nope. Reality, it bites me lately. But I've been having trouble with shortness of breath. And it seems like sleep apnea. The thing about it is, I've been having this health condition the doctors are now saying that what's going on with me now is part of a rare health condition I have, and I've known that since the year, well, actually 1999, and then it was discovered with CT in 2000. And but anyway, the trouble is, and I gained a bunch of weight, and they said that I asked, why is this weight coming on like this? And they said it's part of that condition. So that, at least that's what they're saying now. But and in it, part of it seems like, apnea, and that I'm having trouble, like when I'm trying to sleep. I've never been able to, haven't for decades been able to sleep on my back, and I have not had a sleep test. So I'm not on any CPAP, or isn't it called CPAP or whatever is nowadays. So I'm not on that, but I've been having trouble sleeping lately. But the new beds, I got a new bed November of 2023. So I think that's not that long ago. It was a little over a year. And it was like a bouncy house. Just got a new one. Just came in last month, February. And like 2 weeks ago, a week ago, I don't know. another balancing house. We had to get one from one of the mattresses. It's like 7 years old or something, from upstairs. Bring it down, and finally I was able to get some sleep. But not much, because it started all over again, that I have trouble with what I'm thinking is apnea from this weight gain and all this stuff going on. And I'm going to see somebody about it. So anyway, because of it, now, I was raised polite society. You got to be polite and everything. And many of us were, maybe most of us were on this thing. So, the privacy thing. Well, because I'm having trouble with sleeping and it's trouble with shortness of breath, I don't need to be wearing anything that's, it's the word constrictive. Something that's tight around my, that might stop airflow. I think many of you can figure that one out. I don't need to be wearing that in my home. I don't need to be wearing it, period. But I was raised polite. If I'm having guests over, you think I'm going to go around with it off? Well, I have changed in my ways. But no, I just put on a big sweater. And because I can't do it. No, I can't breathe. I was having trouble breathing. And to have all day somebody there sitting in the living room, that's probably, actually his brother seemed like he figured out that it wasn't good for him to sit and watch me, when I'm going through the house and coming back and going through there. I have to go to one room or the other, whatever I was doing. He was going to be sitting there, and every time I'm passing by, seeing it, whatever I was doing. I think he could figure it out, because he turned his eyes another way and looked like he was, looking at his phone or reading something. He's like in his mid-70s, so I'm thinking in mid-70s. But no matter what, I don't want to have to pass through there. I don't want somebody knowing what I'm doing at various times of the day. It's nobody's business. And given that that family is so judgmental, they're going to go and they're going to talk about it. Gossip, 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 because they find a scapegoat, as many as they can. Instead of taking care of their own problems with one another, they find a scapegoat. They gotta gossip, 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 malicious. The gossip. That's all they live their lives for, it seems, seriously. And these are, by the way, these are people, that brother of his was a professor. These are people who were all in professional fields. I don't know of any of them who hasn't. I think maybe the youngest one, the one that was the niece, may have been that. They have either professional degrees or they may have switched at some point. Okay, I'm quite annoyed. I just made a whole clip, and then all of a sudden it went off, and I'm like, oh, probably didn't get any of that. But I was saying that Adam had called just then, and so I'm not sure where, and I was going to move on, and where, that I'm seeing this. I don't know if his whole family does this, because, and I'm only seeing it from seeing what Adam does. I'm not seeing what the other side does, because I'm not there to see what the other sides do. But it was about how his family, these are people who come from, they invite themselves over, wherever they live. California, when one of them lived in Florida, when one of them, those who live in different parts of Texas, that's nowhere near, it could be hours to drive to Canada, another country across the globe, wherever they are, and they invite themselves over. I don't get to see from that side. I don't see who's having what reaction to what's being said, because they don't ask, they tell. And they tell the person when they're going to do it, how they're going to do it. Yeah. But I don't get to see this, but I do with Adam, is the way that he treats them. Now, they're doing things that he had even said was wrong. Inviting themselves and making plans and expecting other people to just go along with the way that they want to do it, the plans that they made. And but what happens with Adam, pretty much with every one of them, is that once they do come to visit, which is rare, really, overall, when, say, one of them comes, he sees them as though they're royalty. Okay, that I should treat them as royalty. And he treats them with such, like they're so precious. Okay, your family, this is family. They're not some precious, I mean, they are precious, but you get what I'm saying. It's like the whole way that he treats them like royalty. And then I should treat them like royalty. Like they're above me kind of royalty. You get it? No. I don't treat my family like they're royalty. They're my family. There's a thing. They're my family. You know, I'm estranged from my family now. My choice. I've been for a long while. But I never treated them like, oh, they're coming over. Oh, I gotta treat them like royalty. They're so precious. They're so precious. Like his niece, who was like much like her mother. I called her mother a psychopath, and I called her a sociopath. His niece, and I don't have a problem with that. I have absolutely no problem with the way I sum it up at all. And if you know me, I usually say I don't diagnose or anything like that. But no, I don't have a problem with the way I sum this up. It is what it is. Plain and simple. And anyway, so I was saying all this. But that whole thing of royalty. Now let me give you a hint. I mean, the royalty is that apparently I'm not seeing them right. I should see how precious they are, how wonderful they are. You know, and that they I don't know. I mean, have any of you actually seen somebody who treats somebody like they're royalty? And that they have that in their mindset to treat somebody at such a higher level. It's weird. And but anyway, here was one that actually just happened this morning. Okay, his brother, his older brother, who's in his, like I was saying, mid-70s, you know, he's visiting, and told us he wanted to, but I've been having shortness of breath. Me cooking and me doing things, it's difficult for me with this, what's going on with me and all. And so I asked him, because yesterday he had cooked eggs for breakfast for them. And this morning, I said, are you making eggs? I said, you're going to make breakfast? And he said, yeah, if you want to cook it for us. I said, you know, I'm having this trouble. Reminding him. Okay. And then he said, are you taking this stuff this stuff out of here, out of the refrigerator? He said, you put it out for me. I said, you know, and I just told him. I said, did you just hear me? Did you just hear what I said? You know, okay, because basically, you know, I had already mentioned to him that I was having this problem, you know, earlier today with the breathing and everything. And there he is wanting me to do all this for them. Okay? For them. His precious brother. I'm serious. Royalty. I need to treat them like royalty. Don't I know how precious they are? All of them. My God. Seriously. I don't recall having anything like that for my family. Never. But anyway, so he did that. And then I went into the other room because I was ticked. You know, all this stuff that I've been going through because of the way his family is. It wasn't even 7 weeks since the last one, the sociopath, left to go back to their country. She's never returning to this country. I'm fairly certain of that. Thank goodness. I don't think she'd be allowed. So she came on a student visa and she got kicked out. So she got kicked out of the program at the university, kicked out of her university apartment. So they're going to give her another visa? I don't think so. And she lost her job and all that. I don't think so. She was trouble. But not even 7 weeks before the other one, the next one, has invited themselves over. And it was his older brother. Want to do all this kind of stuff, go visit all these people. You know, on his dime, of course, on Adam's. And that's how it is. Everything's going to be on Adam's dime. They're not precious. They're users. But, you know how it is. If I try to tell him, I do in certain ways try to tell him. But, you know, how many people would say, well, aren't you being like these narcissistic people who tell you that your family's all bad and all this stuff and trying to keep them away from you? Yeah, they could think that they would be wrong, because when does the person tell them your family's bad without being put in that slot of narcissist, instead being one who's protecting them? Because it's not always a narcissist. Narcissist is going to might try to take away from your family and your friends, cause a, some kind of, to where they can isolate you. Yeah. But what about when that family actually is bad and the person isn't a narcissist? You got to watch it, because they could make that claim too. Me, I'm just saying, not my circus, not my monkeys. But I try to give him a hint, and he can see it at times. But like I said, haven't we all kind of been there, maybe, ourselves? Okay, I'm being bothered by the sun out here, but no matter which way I move the visor. But anyway, I was mentioning this about just an example this morning of them being precious. Adam asking me to cook for them. That would be him and his brother. And just when I was telling him I was having that trouble breathing, didn't get to sleep, much sleep last night, all that, and I had already put a bunch of, filled up the dishwasher, and all this while I'm feeling like this. And so I went into the master bedroom, started watching TV. Said, screw him. And then I got up and I walked out and I said, I could smell it. He was cooking. I said, oh, you're making some eggs. He said, yeah, and he put them in a plate, and he had some bread next to it, and I knew he had made them for his brother and himself. Where were mine? The person who's not feeling well. This is the thing that they do. See, if I wasn't going to cook for them, then he would cook only for them. Only for them. You get it? I am serious when I say the nerve of them. But like I said, I don't know if the other ones do the same thing, because they usually all do the same kind of thing. They usually all have the same kind of attitude. And then they are ones to think that everybody in their family are these perfect beings, that they know everything, that they are the know-it-alls, that literally they know it all. I'm not saying they're, being smart aleck about it, but that literally they are the best family, they are the best everything. And they treat one another like, they speak of one another like they're the best thing since sliced bread. So I could see that all of them do that. Oh, they're precious. My precious brother, my precious sister, my precious parents, my precious nieces and I don't think they have any nephews. They have them on their cousin's side. Oh, they're coming. Oh. And forget everybody else. They're coming to visit. I don't have to talk to you about it. I don't discuss it with you. That kind of, oh, man, seriously. Oh, man. And then they're going to make breakfast for them, not, for himself and his brother. And not me, the one who's having trouble, struggling with breathing, shortness of breath. Well, he just asked or told, "Are you gonna make it? You gonna make the breakfast?" Dude, really? Yeah. But you see what I'm saying? I'm gonna wrap this up. Oh, I did want to mention one thing. I'd said in a video, my family is not like this, but I was listening to a video that I had made 7 years ago, and in the month, and when Adam had told his family, his sister and his, older brother, that they can't make plans and make decisions for other people, and I mentioned in there that what my family does, and then in a recent video, I said my family wasn't doing anything like that. Wrong. When they did it, it was around the holidays, Christmas, with Thanksgiving, Christmas, and they would change the plans on what day we were going to get together and everybody was going to meet, because we're all live in different areas of Texas, and whatever it was at the time, wherever all of us were, different places, and then they would just change it. And not say, what about your plans? When are you available? When can you be there? They would just make plans for everybody else, and they were firm on it. And at one point, I said, I disown all of you from Halloween through to the 2nd of January. And eventually, I said I disowned them all. I don't like the word disown, but you know what I mean. I don't have anything to do with them. Plain and simple. Okay, and yes, and in all truth, I could do with a life without having any of his family members in it. I really could. I really could. They really haven't been in much of our life as it is, except when they want something. When they want to, have a vacation on his dime and go spend money out of his wallet. Like his sister had come here for 6 months. In 2017, into 2017, and beginning of 2018, and she visited these brothers and all that. Well, whose money did you think she was using? We go shopping, she put it on his tab, kind of thing. They don't, and I made videos about, she didn't care how much money she spent as long as it was his. He wouldn't say anything because it's his precious family. He would get mad because Adam, when it comes to money and people wanting to spend his money, he doesn't like that. He doesn't really have to worry about money. Not like we used to. When we were younger, oh, did we ever. We struggled quite a bit when we were younger. I was 18 when we married. We struggled quite a bit for a long while. But, anyway, they don't care. I mean, they really have this mentality that what each other has is in part theirs too. Seriously. His brother is his brother. So when we go visit, he goes and spends all this money on stuff we want to take back with us into our home to give out to our family. They think this way. Yeah, crazy crap. I don't think that way. I cannot imagine going, if me and my sisters were still, my siblings, I have a brother too. If I was still on, I'm estranged from them, my choice, with no contact with them. But I cannot imagine going to their house and expecting them to spend money on me. I mean, I just can't imagine it. Not with any of them. Not for any reason. I mean, maybe if I were really ill or something, but it would have to be something like that. But I still even couldn't do that. I would give them the money to go buy me something, food or whatever. I just can't imagine putting myself in some situation. And like I said, these people are not involved in his life, really, unless they want something on his dime. That is sad. To see those are the people you see as precious? Wow. That's not precious. The people who are actually there for you are the ones you should think of as precious. Not the ones who are there just with their hand out. You know, gimme, gimme, gimme. Anyway, wrapping it up. Talk to you on another video. Bye.